Hello and welcome to my spirit bonding guide. First I want to start with why I'm doing this guide at all. There are two ways that I'm making Jill in this game. The first one is obvious. As a crafter, I am crafting best in slot gathering and crafting gear, like that for example, obviously patch 4.2, or the battle gear, like for example this one. Selling those is obviously very profitable. However, there's a second way of making a lot of Jill that I'm personally using. Obviously, disclaimer, there are many ways of making Jill. Housing items is just an example, but these are my two ways of making Jill in this game. And the secondary one is spirit bonding. Now, what is spirit bonding? It is basically the action of getting the spirit bond on an item to maximum and then converting it into materia. And it is, if done right, always extremely profitable. Another disclaimer, you will need to invest at least some money into it, but it is guaranteed to have a very good profit on items. Once these are converted, they produce materia, and those items are always high in demand, so they will sell relatively quickly. As an example, let's view my sale history, and here you can say what I mean by that. That was yesterday, I believe. Yes, that's yesterday. I've sold just some of my tier 5 materia and made a good amount of money. Okay, so what do you need for a spirit bonding session? First, let's talk about how to decide on what to do. You will want to spirit bond using high level items that you can spam and that are relatively cheap to spam. As an example is this Silkova lumber. Its advantage is that it needs only one single ingredient, like this one that's down here, the material, and as the second ingredient is the crystal, obviously. Only those two. Let's compare that, for example, to smithing. Let's go to the molybdenum ingot. That needs 3, and the cobalt ore is obviously extra cost. However, you obviously also need to decide how much the crystals will cost you. You can obviously gather them yourself, but you will need a huge amount of those. So, when trying to decide what you want to spirit bond with, you will also need to look at the price of the ingredients. And the wind crystals, for example, are at 380 per piece. I've just bought some, as you can see here. And the, let's say, ice crystals are only 50 a piece. So if you could craft using ice crystals, then you should obviously do that. I'm just gonna buy a couple. I didn't realize they were that cheap right now. Oh my god, yes. Yeah. Excuse me for that. Break interruption. The ice crystals are necessary if you want to spirit bond molybdenum ingots using the armorer. This one uses ice crystals. And if I need mats, like for example the molybdenum ingots for other recipes, like as an example trade-ins for Romena, so I can make yellow crafter script and turn them into alchemics. I think I've put them into different inventories, so I can't show them off. I have like 100 alchemics right now. Those again are necessary to craft the 350 gear, so it always comes around. Other ingredients other recipes you want to consider when spirit bonding is the palladium nugget. the twin thread, which is down here. Wait, twin thread is over here, obviously. The twin thread, like this one, and the Tsarkova lumber and the molybdenum ingots. The blacksmith uses fire crystals, which are obviously more expensive than the ice crystals. Now, how many of those are you going to need? Well, with all the buffs, which I am going to talk about in a minute, with all the buffs, you will need to 175 crafts of this, just quick synthing it, in order to spirit bond a set completely. Which means, translated, that you need 175 times 4 molybdenum ore, for example, 175 cobalt ore, and 175 times 5 ice crystals to spirit bond a single set, and on top of that you will actually fail about 28% of the craft, since the quick synthesis has a chance to fail. However, if you consider all of that, it is still a huge Jill gain. Now, the buffs that I'm going to talk about. There are several you have to think about. The first one is the potent spirit bond potion. You can either craft it yourself using your alchemist, which is here somewhere. There it is. Or you can obviously buy them from the market board. That's what I did. The second one you want to think about is the Better Crowned Pie, which gives you increased spirit bond gain +2. This one you can buy for great company seals. You just buy urushi or something and then trade it in at the NPC in Mordona. There is an NPC right here, this one. Why can't I place a marker? There it is. Right, this one here, who will exchange urushi, for example, for Better Crowned Pie. You will need 6 pieces for 1 pie. Those two. And the third and final buff you want to think about is that which binds us to. It increases the spirit bonding speed. If you have all 3 buffs up, you will need only 175 crafts. Okay, so for example, what did I forget to mention? Of course, when you're spirit bonding, materia slotted into your gear will increase the spirit bonding speed. However, having an item being high quality increases the spirit bonding speed as if it had 1 extra materia inside. So what I do when I prepare my sets that I want to spirit bond is that every single item that has only a single materia slot, I high quality. Like the rings, the bracelets, the necklaces, the tools, and every single item that has 2 materia slots I just buy from the vendor, so I don't have to invest all the ingredients and all the time. And if you do that and put materia into all of them, then they will all spirit bond at exactly the same rate. The materia, what's the word in English? I recommend that you would use materia that when you retrieve it is 100% chance. So you can just reuse the materia instead of having to buy new one every single time. So what do you do here? I've prepared 4 carpenter sets and 2 goldsmith sets. The reason why I went with those is that I need palladium nuggets. That's why I have goldsmith ready, and Selkova logs were very cheap, so I have prepared a lot of carpenter. As you can see here, that's a lot of Selkova logs right there. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna throw in my spirit bond potion. I'm gonna throw in my Better Crowned Pie. Then I'm going to equip all the gear I need Here we go. I'm going with Carpenter first, like this. Then I'm going to double check that all my items have piety materia in them and have 0 spirit bond. That way I know that I've put in all the right items. And now you start spirit bonding. For example, this Tsarkova lumber. You need 175. So what you do is you do 99, then your gear will be low durability. And when it is broken, it doesn't spirit bond anymore. So what you do is you do the 99 stack, then you repair it, then you do the last 76 that are missing. Then you stand back up, exchange your set, and do another one. Obviously don't forget to reapply your food when necessary. Otherwise it will need more than 175 sets to complete. Did I forget to mention anything? I don't think so. So that was my spirit bonding guide to as to how I make money in this game. Thank you for listening, and if you've got any questions, just post them in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching.